So welcome to the part 3 of Learning Crew AI. Please take a look at part 1 and 2 because a lot of this code is driven by part 1 and 2. So if you don't understand anything, you have to go back and look at the part 1 and 2. So in this session, we are going to talk about flows. What is flow? And the second part of the session, we're going to download a LLM and run it in our local box itself. So what we will do, we'll get Deepseek LLM and we'll run it on our box and we can use it in place of going to OpenAI. So let's get started. But before we look at the code, let's talk about for a minute, what is flow? So Flow is a very powerful feature designed to streamline the creation and management of AI workflows. So Flow allows developer to combine and coordinate different tasks and crew. So there are 4 things about this flow which is really very nice. One is it's very simplified way to create a flow. Easily we can chain together multiple crews and tasks to create a complex AI workflow. So number 1 is simplified way of creating a workflow. Second is you can have a state management. So the state from this agent or from this method can come to this state and then this state. So all they can share the state. So state management is also very simple and we'll see it in the code. And the next is it's an event-driven architecture. And this is the best architecture I have seen. It's so simple. You just look at the code and you will understand what's going on. Very beautifully done. So kudos to Crew AI. And then you have a flexible control flow, how things will work together. So here I'm showing you kind of a serial execution. First, this task completes, then it goes to this task and to this task. And other way we can say these 2 tasks go parallelly and then it goes to create the stock report. So we can do and or, all those things we can do in this flow. So to understand, remember this picture that we get the data, then we get the news, and then we create a report. So now let's take a look at the code. As you can see here, I am creating, first thing, I'm creating a flow state, which has just one variable called news and it is string. And of course, you will see in the code, we are importing a couple of things, flow, listen, and start and all that. And obviously this code I am sharing. So in the description, you will find the Git repository link. You can get it from there. And this is how we start our flow. So we are defining a stock flow class and it is taking this stock state and it is taking the state and this state will flow through the whole flow and it will go to each and every method here. So here I have 3 methods: get stock data, news, and stock report. As you can see, I said start. So the flow will start from this stock data. And this is very simply, we are just putting an attribute on the function and which is telling to the flow system that this is the start of the flow. It gets started. And then these other methods are listening to the stock data. And when they are in serial execution mode, when it is listening means when this data method will finish, it will call the listener. So as you can see, just putting the start attribute tells the flow system that this is the start of the flow. And once this method will finish, it returns something which goes to the listener. So this is one of the listener which is listening and it will get this stock data as a parameter of the return value of the first method. And then the next one, here what I have done, I said listen and make sure that these both the methods are completed, get stock data and get stock news, and then execute the get stock report. So this is the beauty of flow, that as you've seen here, You can have serial execution or you can have parallel, and you can mix match and or because it's a event driven architecture, very nicely done. And you can just have a couple of methods and they can be called one after another by the system. And as you can see, this is running first and then this is running second. Of course, inside this method, you can have whole of your crew running. So you can have multiple crews which can be orchestrated by this flow. So that is the main point you have to understand because I'm showing you a very simple example of just calling a method. But imagine this method can really kickstart some crews, and these crews can be doing some very, very complex thing. So keep that thing in mind. Okay, now let's drill deep into each method. As you can see, this get stock data is doing not much, but reading this report of a stock. Just to simplify and not make this example too complex to learn about flow, because our focus is flow, not about learning how to build a trading system where I can trade stocks using these things. So I have all this code written here, which does all the complex system, goes to APIs and get all the data and then create this report, which is, I put it here, report.txt, which is checking EPS and trailing PE, forward PE, PEG ratio, and all those things. That's a whole separate different video to talk about how to do all those things. But here, just to keep things simple, we'll say there's a method, say get stock data, and it gets all the data going through different APIs and collecting everything together. And once it collects all these things, the listener will get started and it will get the get stock news. And this news is again very simple, one API call here. As you can see, I'm calling news API or which is going to get me the news. And then you can keep adding more and more things, right? You can go and read Reddit, you can read Twitter, and all that data you can take, and then you give this, create the stock report. And this stock report, that's where I am calling the LLM and passing all this detail about the prompt that you are a financial analyst who knows everything about stock. And this is a plain vanilla basic prompt. And then I'm passing this whole data with news and all the financial data and fundamentals of the company. And then it creates the report. So this is a flow in a very, very simple manner. They have a very nice documentation here. You can go and read more about it, how to get started. Again, I'm finding out so far, looking at all different frameworks, Crew seems to be the most simple one. And their documentation is also pretty good. And then we'll see in this main, what we are doing is, again, all this commented thing, don't worry about it. You will learn about them in part 1 and 2. So here we take the stock flow and then say kickoff. That's it. So my flow started here. So as you can see this structure here, I have created this project and then there's another status report crew under source. So this is how the crew AI manages different crews. So if you'll create another crew, crew AI.create another crew, it will create another separate folder inside the source, because that's how you can keep all the crews together. So in example, I just showed in part 2, I created an HR crew, but I could have said crew AI create HR crew, which will have created another separate folder just to do a clean management. Now, as you've seen, these 3 methods are there, and in this main API, we are just calling the crew. So let's run it. So to run it, let's move to this folder and activate our environment. And now say crew AI run, because this is the run method, and inside run method, we are starting the flow. And the output of the flow is, it's going to write a report, very nice report called stockreports.md after getting all the news and all the detail. So we got the message done creating the stock report. So the whole flow ran, and let's look at the report now. Stock report MD. So as you can see, this is a very nice report created here about a company called AIG. This is not a recommendation to anybody to buy or sell on this thing. This is just to show how to use. So please don't take it as a stock recommendation here. Okay. As you can see, I can have a flow, one crew which can go and collect all the data and fundamentals number about a company, and then you can get all the news and everything, and then you can go and create this report. As you can see, this report is created, the summary is there, and then there's the news about the report also. I wanted to have a current news about a certain stock before I make a move. So this is about flow. And now let's talk about how we can run an LLM in our local machine. So let's take a look at how we can use a LLM locally on our machine itself. And so we don't have to make a call to OpenAI for anything. As we know, OpenAI cost us, every call costs us something. So what we can do is we can download a LLM model and just use it locally. So to do that, let's go to Ollama website first. Here is Ollama, and you can go and download it. Of course, you can choose whatever operating system you have. Once you download it, and then you can go and choose the model. So for this example, we'll use Deepseek. So when I click it, I see there are different versions are there. These are the 7 billion parameter and 1.5. So we will try this small model, which is 1.5. And to do that, once we download Ollama, you have to go in your machine and get it started. So once the application is downloaded, you just double click on it so it will start, and you can see that Ollama is running here on your taskbar. After that, you have to come to this Crew API and import this LLM and define this LLM, which is here. We are defining a Deepseek LLM and just giving the model and the base URL. And this model is Ollama, and Deepseek R1-1.5b is come out of this website here. This is the name of the model we are using. And after that, you have to make another change where you have to tell these agents that you are using this Deepseek LLM. So both the agents having LLM, Deepseek, now they will not go to OpenAI, and they will use Deepseek LLM to do the whole project. So we showed in our part 1 that we have this to-do list. So as you can see, we written a couple of to-do statement here, and when we will run our main, here we are running this status report crew. This thing we have discussed very much in detail in part 1, how we are creating the status report. But here I just want to show you how you can use a different LLM which is running on your box. So that's the only change we have done. Now we have to pull the Deepseek model on our machine. So the command is Ollama pull Deepseek, and as you know that the Ollama is running on the box. So let's pull it. It's done. Now only thing we have to do is to run the project. So let's go to the directory and then say Crewai run. Again, I will keep reminding you, please see the part 1 for the detail of this whole project. But here, the only change we have done is we put the Deepseek LLM in place of OpenAI, let the agent know that they have to go to Deepseek, and then using this, we are going to create the report. Okay, it's done running. So let's see here. As you can see, because of the Deepseek, the agents are thinking differently, and all the prompt you will see, they are coming very, very different than OpenAI. It has an error, then it fixes the error itself. So this can be a good research project to try different models and see how they behave. So So here you can see one agent who is the report researcher is working here, and then it's given to the reporting analyst, and then they are writing. It's much more detailed description Deepseek has given than OpenAI. And in the end, the report is created, and we can look at the report here. So as you can see, Deepseek has created a very different format of the report than OpenAI. I did find OpenAI is much better, but of course now this Deepseek is running in your machine, and it's a zero cost to you. You can run this report multiple times, and you can tweak the prompt, etc., to make the report the way you want it. And of course, as I said, on the Olama site, you can see there are many LLMs are there. So you can play with them and see which one works the best. But this is a quick example of using LLM in your machine itself. So it's a zero cost agent for you.